Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Trial of the Cursed Egg by Serenity Rayne. And this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Abraxas, 20 years ago. The thunderous sound of wing beats fills the air, vibrating through my chest as we soar toward the Blade's song nest. Tension coils in my stomach. This place, these people have been our enemies for generations. But that ends today, at least according to my mother. I am to be betrothed to the next daughter born to the Bladesong family. If it's a son, my mother will try to produce a daughter to wed him. The thought makes my skin prickle. We've lost so many lives on both sides. It has to end somewhere, somehow. Mom's wings tilt sharply as she banks hard to the right, the wind screaming past my ears as we circle the Bladesong courtyard, preparing to land. The nest looks imposing from up here, jagged spires rising like sharpened claws toward the sky, their dark stone flecked with the blood of battles long fought. I swallow hard, the weight of it all pressing against me. Dad lands first, his massive form shifting seamlessly into his human body. His fighting leathers strain across his chest as he adjusts them, eyes sharp as ever, scanning the courtyard for threats. Always vigilant, always ready. I follow his gaze as Mom begins her descent. When she lands, I stretch my wings, the muscles flexing and straining as I glide down next to Dad, landing softly on the courtyard stone floor. Like him, when I shift, my dragon wings remain broad and dark against the pale light. I flex them a few times, feeling the tension ripple through me, trying to shake off the unease gnawing at the edge of my thoughts. Keep them up, Dad mutters under his breath, eyes forward, not acknowledging the slight nod I give. I can feel the weight of this moment settling into my bones as I stand at his side, the thick silence of the Bladesong stronghold suffocating. The place reeks of power and danger. My heart pounds in my chest, but I keep my expression neutral just as Dad taught me. The courtyard is unnervingly still, shadows flickering under the torchlight, and my wings are pulled tight against my back. Stay vigilant, Father's voice echoes in my mind, urging me to watch the shadows closely, always watching. The Bladesong flight prides itself on being swift, silent killers, but tonight something darker lurks in those shadows. A voice deep and resonant cuts through the silence. Box. Single word reverberates through the tunnel just ahead, sending a shiver up my spine. When the figure steps into view, I instinctively take a step back. His leathers are a deep, almost black green, the mark of a poison master, an assassin of the highest order. His presence alone makes my skin crawl, but it's the scattering of green scales along his neck that catches my eye. A green dragon. My father always said they are the worst of their kind, far more dangerous than even black dragons. Their venom, their cruelty, they make the most ruthless look like saints. Abaddon, my father says, his tone steady as stone. He moves in front of my mother, shielding her, but he pulls me to stand at his side. My stomach tightens. Abaddon's eyes, sharp and predatory, are fixed on me now as if sizing up a prize. So, this is the heir, he says, his head tilting in a snake-like motion, studying me with cold, calculating eyes. The one who may marry my hatchling. His words make my blood run cold. There's no warmth, a hint of genuine interest, just calculation and expectation. His gaze bores into me, leaving no room for defiance. Step forward. I want to see you better. The command leaves no space for hesitation. My father taught me well, never show weakness. Push the fear down, stepping forward with measured precision. My wings unfurl slightly, and showcasing the strength of my leathers, the sharpness of my bones. It's a display meant to impress, to show my potential as a future leader, a warrior. Abaddon studies me for what feels like an eternity, his expression unreadable. The air around him feels toxic, suffocating. I'm careful to keep my breathing even, but the tension is like a coil winding tighter and tighter in my chest. Seriously? Abaddon Finally speaks, lowering his head slightly to my mother, his voice a soft, dangerous purr. You've produced a fine son. The compliment is laced with something that feels more like a threat, and I can't shake the feeling that every word he speaks is part of some larger game. Without another word, he turns sharply, his movements swift, almost serpentine, as he strides toward the main keep. I hold my breath, only exhaling once he disappears from view. But the knot of dread in my stomach doesn't loosen. If anything, it tightens. This is only the beginning, and I have the sinking feeling that whatever fate awaits me is darker than any Shadowblade lurking in the night. Dad steps forward, his broad shoulders casting long shadows as he follows Abaddon into the dark, winding tunnel. The sound of his boots echo with each heavy step, blending with the rhythmic drip of water from the ceiling splashing in the puddles below. The air is damp and cool, but there's an undercurrent of heat, like something ancient and alive waiting just beyond. At the end of the tunnel, Abaddon stands by a set of massive double doors, his eyes flashing gold like his dragons, sharp and foreboding. Without a word, he pushes the doors open. The creak of the hinges breaks the silence, revealing a vast chamber beyond, bathed in soft, flickering light. A great fire crackles in the hearth, its warmth battling the chill of the stone walls. Circe, Layla is through the wooden door to the right, Abaddon says, his voice a low rumble. Bring your progeny with you to meet the hatchling when it arrives. Mom's hand presses gently between my wings, her touch of grounding force against the rising tension in the room. She nudges me forward, her voice low and steady. Don't, Maclean. I don't. Keep my gaze fixed ahead as she urges me toward the silver door. The heat that rolls out the moment she pushes it open is suffocating, nearly stealing my breath. It wraps around me like a thick blanket, heavy and oppressive. Circe, you made it! A woman with gleaming silver horns steps forward, her presence striking against the fiery glow of the egg chamber. She kisses my mom on both cheeks, her smile warm but powerful like the iron she's made of. I wouldn't miss this for the world, Layla, Mom replies, her voice soft but firm, the weight of their shared history clear in the way she says it. And her gaze shifts to me, a smile touching her lips. This is my son, Abraxas. Baby, this is Layla. She's an iron dragon. We don't see many of them anymore. There's sadness in her tone, like a thread woven into something much larger than just this moment. We went to the academy together, Layla adds, offering me a hand. Her smile is warm, inviting, so unlike the cold, calculating demeanor of her male counterpart. Come, I'll have a seat next to the nest for you. The heat presses in as I move to the chair she's indicated. It's almost overwhelming, like standing too close to a furnace. I can feel the weight of expectation settling on my shoulders as I stare at the egg before me. It gleams metallic silver with dark green veins running between the scale-like patterns of the shell. The heat radiating from it is palpable, alive. My mind races as I wonder which dragon the hatchling will favor more, its mother or its sire. Lady Layla, are you and Vox mates? The question slips out before I can stop it, though I know the answer. My parents aren't mates either, just betrothed, bound by the same duty that will soon be mine if the hatchling is female. Sadly, no, Layla answers, her smile faltering. Mates are uncommon these days, especially since they're trying to keep the dragon lines pure. The words hang in the air, thick with the weight of something unsaid. My eyes drift back to the egg, the metallic sheen of it reflecting the firelight. It feels like a silent promise waiting to be fulfilled. Several hours later. The egg chamber smells of limestone. The scent is familiar as the weight of my wings. Like every other nest, this place has absorbed the scent of the eggs and hatchlings. Easy prey for anyone hunting for a quick kill. Pale green light from the embedded glowstones flickers against the walls, reflecting off the stream of magma flowing along the western wall. The warmth that radiates seeps into my skin, but it's the egg in the center of the room that holds my attention now. A tinkling sound reaches my ears, subtle but enough to make my head snap toward the nest. The egg has moved, shifted from its original position. My breath catches as I see it. A crack, thin but unmistakable, splintering across the shell. Lady Layla, the egg has a crack. I call out, my voice lower than I expect, edged with something that feels suspiciously like fear. Both females rush over, their eyes locked on the egg. Shifts again, the crack widening. Sound of shell breaking fills the room with a tension that prickles up my skin. Should I call for Vox? My mother's voice trembles as she glances toward the door, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Layla shakes her head, the movement slow, deliberate. Only if it's female, she whispers, but there's something broken in her voice. Never heard a female sound like that before. Even Dad can't make Mom sound that way. Layla hums a melody I've heard once before, when my little sister was born. It's soft, the song filled with hope, quiet expectation. Mom leans down and presses a kiss to the crown of my head, fingers crossed like always. Fingers crossed your princess is in there, she whispers, her lips brushing against my hair. I edge closer to the nest, the warmth from the magma making the air thick and heavy. I lean in, peering at the shell as it cracks further. Silver talons punch through, small but sharp, pulling at the fragments to break free. Feel my heart pound in my chest every second, stretching into eternity. Minutes tick by like hours. The crack widens until finally the hatchling tumbles out. It's all wings and steel-bladed edges gleaming in this dim light. Green scales shimmer, edged with silver-like armor, and its wings flare as it takes its first breath. And then it looks at me. Time stops. I can't breathe. My wings twitch, wanting to spread, to flame. My mother's sharp intake of breath breaks the moment, her eyes wide, horror written across her face as she shakes her head at me. I try to force my wings to stay tucked tight against my body, but it's like trying to fight gravity. I can't tear my eyes away from her, my mate. Her golden eyes lock on mine unblinking, and I know in my bones that this is her. I'm going to tell Vox the patrol can proceed as planned, Layla announces, her smile wide as she leans down and kisses the crown of my head again. Welcome to the family of Raxus, she adds, before leaving the room. Mom bends down, her breath warm against my ear. You can't tell anyone she's your mate, she whispers, the weight of her words pressing down on me like a stone. Dragon mates are rare. Mates with other species are common, but not forbidden under the Accords unless it strengthens the bloodline of flight. You know what this means. Her voice trembles, and I don't have to look at her to know she's scared. Not for herself, but for me. And for her. The hatchling stumbles toward me, her legs unsteady, but her eyes never waver. Mom's voice is low as she continues. Her coloring, who her father is, she'll have a target on her back. You'll have to train harder than ever, be stronger than you thought possible if you want to protect her. I nod, but my throat feels tight, my heart pounding. 21 years. That's how long I have to wait. 21 years to survive primary school, Draconis Academy, and War College. But I already know, I'm done for. The moment I reach out and touch her, her eyes flutter closed at the contact, and my fate is sealed. I have to survive it all. For her.